I've been trying to call. I've been on my own for long enough. Maybe you can show me how to love. Maybe I'm going through withdrawals. You don't even have to do too much. You can turn me on with just a touch, baby. I look around and since city's cold and empty, no one's around to judge me. I can't see clearly when you're gone. And I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. I said, ooh, I'm drowning in the night. Oh, when I'm like this, you're the one I trust. I'm running out of time, 'cause I can see the sun light up the sky. So I hit the road in overdrive, baby. Hit the road in overdrive. The city's cold and empty. No one's around to judge me. I can't see clearly when you're gone. And I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. I said, ooh, I'm drowning in the night. Oh, when I'm like this, you're the one I trust. I'm coming back to let you know I can never say it on the phone. But whenever I let it go, this time I said, ooh, I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. I'm blinded by the lights. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. Feel free to be whoever you wanna be. Feel free to dance, feel free to sing, just feel free. Feels like the world is picking on ya. Feels like it's picking on me. But trying to please everybody, that ain't no way to be. So many people try to get you to fit their mold.
Well, you guys watch that Eagles game last night? You guys watch that? Philadelphia Eagles, Miami Dolphins, Sunday Night Football. A game that, on the surface, you would look at and say, well, what does this have to do with the Titans, really? I mean, other than the fact that the Dolphins are in the AFC and whatever. But you would watch that game and you would say, what does this game have to do with the Titans? Well, nothing. I expected to tune into the game and just enjoy a good football game, stress-free. And far be it from me to beat a dead horse. I hate to do it, but we're going to do it for a second here today on this Two Tone Talk podcast. Arthur Juan Brown. I saw a Titans fan, or it wasn't a Titans fan. It was just a fan of football. I don't know who they were a fan of. They posed the question. They said, "Do you think that A.J. Brown is a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL?" Huh! Right now, A.J. Brown is a surefire top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. I think he's a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL. Maybe even higher. You look at the guy's stats, his last 5 games, he's putting up some pretty good numbers, guys. And I'm sorry, I don't think the day will ever come when I watch A.J. Brown killing it in Philadelphia, just unbelievable, and not think about the fact that he was once a Tennessee Titan. And he was drafted by the Tennessee Titans. He was our guy. And he did a good job for us. And you know what else? Some of the best days that we've experienced in Tennessee Titans world over the last 20 years, he was there for those days, and he was a great part of why those days were so great. He's the best wide receiver that this organization has ever had. And he was ours from the start. We drafted him. And then we made one of the worst decisions that you could ever make, and we decided to trade him to the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know how many more times I'm going to say it, but here goes. You can't do things like that. You can't make decisions like that and expect everything to just be okay. You can't make decisions like that and just expect to continue having good times. You can't. That's not a winning decision. That's not a decision that a winning organization makes. Let me pull up this picture for you. And I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it. But let me just pull this up for you, just to show you this photo. Take a look, guys. Take a look at that right there. I know there's a reflection. There you see it a little better. Take a look. There he is, okay? That's a picture of John Robinson conducting an interview on the local news in Nashville after the Titans, it was at the Combine, I believe it was, just months after the Titans had been heartbreakingly eliminated by the Cincinnati Bengals from the playoffs. John Robinson, the then GM of the Tennessee Titans, broke down in tears because he was asked by a local news reporter, do you look back and look at decisions that you could have made differently that could have helped this team get over the hump? This man sat there in silence for like 10 minutes, broke down in tears, and said, it keeps him up at night. It kept him up at night, the fact that the Titans came up short against the Bengals in that playoff game. It keeps him up at night because he said, his words, not mine, the only thing in life that matters to him outside of his family is the Tennessee Titans football team. That's what he said. That's what the former GM of this team said. And then he proceeded to turn around and trade one of the best players on the team, best wide receiver we've ever had, key reason why we were winning, trade him away. And then he got fired. Coincidentally, He got fired last season after AJ and the Eagles beat the holy crap out of the Tennessee Titans in Philadelphia. He was fired days later. And don't think that I ain't letting Mike Vrabel and Amy Adams Strunk off the hook for that decision either. They were in the room. Like the Hamilton musical said, they were in the room where it happened. The room where it happened. They let it happen. Now, maybe Vrabel tried and was told, because we've all seen the clip of Vrabel after the decision was made. Dude was not happy. He stood up, shook that head, walked away from the table. We've all saw that clip from the NFL Network. Everybody knows he was mad. Vrabel said days before the trade, he said, as long as I'm the head coach of this team, A.J. Brown will not be traded. And then A.J. was traded. I don't know. But you can't do things like that and expect to win. You cannot make decisions like that and expect to win. And now it's on full display every week. Because you know what happens every time A.J. Brown puts on a performance like he did last night, which he does often. You want to know what happens? Every announcer, every news reporter that talks about it, they throw it in there, don't they? This man was acquired in a trade from the Tennessee Titans. The Titans traded this guy away. Look what's happened to the Titans ever since they traded this guy away. And Titans fans get all mad about it on Twitter. Why do they got to keep bringing this up? No, don't get mad at them. They're just speaking facts. Because it was such a stupid, boneheaded decision that it deserves to be brought up over and over and over. Every time this guy puts up a 150-yard performance, every time this guy has 18 touchdowns in a game, every time this guy has a 1,000-yard season by the time we're at the halfway point, every time this guy has more yards himself than all the Titans wide receivers do combined, it deserves to be brought up. So don't get mad at these commentators. Don't get mad at Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels and Joe Buck and all the other people who bring it up. They're just spitting facts. If you're going to make a stupid decision like that, you deserve to be ridiculed for it for years. Don't get mad at these commentators. They're just telling the truth. They're just telling the story of what happened. And you know what? There are some fans on Twitter, and I encountered some of them last night, who say, guys, it's been 1.5 years since this guy was traded. Yeah, it sucks, but my gosh, we got to move on with our lives. We got to move on with our lives and stop whining about it. Why are we still talking about this? You don't know why we're still talking about it? You really want to know? Because the Tennessee Titans are not any good. Currently, they're 2-4. They're 2-4. They've lost 11 of their last 13 games. Their passing game is horrendous. Their offense is horrendous. How'd we get here? I'm not going to say the AJ trade is the only thing that got us here, but you know what? There was a reason why me and other fans like me were so upset about that trade. There's a reason. You want to know why? Because it was the beginning of the end. We just came off of that great 12-5 year. We had just been the number 1 seed in the AFC. Heartbreaking loss to the Bengals, but faith that we could come back and try to run it back again. And then that decision was made. And the handwriting was all over the wall. All over the wall. It was plain as day. This is the beginning of the end. Not the beginning of the end of the organization, but the beginning of the end of this era of Titans football that's been good these last few years, or before last year. It was the beginning of the end. That's a bad enough decision that it's the beginning of the end. And you don't need hindsight to tell you that. You need common sense to tell you that. And any of us that had common sense, most of us, sat there that night watching that draft, and we knew it. We knew it. This is going to set us back 10 years. We knew it. But you want to know why? Because guys like A.J. Brown don't come around often. You understand that? Guys like A.J. Brown are hard to come by. Okay? He's a special talent. And when you have a guy like that you drafted, you were the one lucky enough that your team, you picked him, and he's on your team, you got to do whatever you got to do to keep that guy. Now, there are some, and this is a good argument, and I agree. There are some who say, listen, if A.J. Brown were on this Titans team, how much of a difference would it even make? What would the Titans' record be right now if they had A.J. Brown? What would it have been last year if they had A.J. Brown? I think it would have been better. But I see what you're saying. Having A.J. Brown is not going to make up for the fact that our offensive line is mediocre at best. Having A.J. Brown is not going to make up for the fact that Ryan Tannehill appears to be on the way out. Having A.J. Brown is not going to make up for the fact that last year we had Todd Downing as an offensive coordinator. Having A.J. Brown is not going to fix everything. But let me tell you something, though. Okay, because I agree. If A.J. was on this team, he'd be getting 3 targets a game or he'd be on injured reserve. And that's another thing. How's A.J. Brown with Tennessee? He's hurt all the time. Now he goes to Philadelphia. He's healthy as he can be every week. And it's not just him. I know David Long for Miami. I know he got hurt last night, but David Long, who was hurt all the freaking time with Tennessee, now he's in Miami, and for the most part, he's just out there fresh as a daisy every week. So yes, if AJ was still with the Titans, I don't know how much of a difference he'd make, but I'll tell you this. It's about the principle of it. It's about the fact that winning organizations don't do crap like this. I don't understand, guys. It's been a year and a half, and I still can't fathom. Can't fathom it. Anyway, it sucked last night. Just like it sucks every week to watch A.J. Brown just torching NFL defenses, and to know that we had him and we let him go. You know what it's like every time watching A.J. Brown do that? It's like watching your ex kiss another guy on national television while everyone cheers and talks about how adorable they are together. That's what it's like. That's what it's like. It sucks. But let's move on and talk about the current day, present Titans. Because they were coming off of a bye. They're back this week. They play the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday, and they're going to be wearing their Houston Oiler throwback uniforms. So that'll be neat. So the report is that Ryan Tannehill most likely out for this game. Most likely out. Very likely he's out. And so we look to either Malik Willis or Will Levis. You guys know my thoughts on this. I want to see Levis. I've seen Willis. I've seen enough of Willis. I want to see Will Levis in this game. I want to see him starting. Give him a shot. Now, I will say the Falcons do have a pretty good defense, so it's going to be a tough test for whoever starts at quarterback. It's going to be a tough test because Falcons got a good defense. But I want to see Levis. Trade rumors. Listen. Trade deadline is, I believe, a week from tomorrow. So this game on Sunday, it's a big deal. It is a big deal. Because the Titans, I believe if they win, and improve to 3-4, they're going to believe that they're hanging around. They're going to believe that they're figuring this thing out, and they're going to keep everybody and go on business as usual. But if they lose, and they fall to 2-5, there's going to be some interesting discussions going on within this organization, and I think it's possible that we see some key players traded. But can I tell you this? Because I've seen this opinion going around on Twitter, and I agree. I don't think Derrick Henry's getting traded. And furthermore, not only do I not think Derrick Henry's getting traded, I think Derrick Henry is going to be back with the Titans next year. I'm starting to think he's going to be back next year. Because with the way things are going, and the money he would likely want, where does he go? I mean, where does he go at the end of the year? Who's going to want to pay him what he's going to want? So if he's taking a pay cut anyway, he might just stay in Nashville. Depending on how the rest of this year goes. I don't think that's out of the... I mean, we've kind of treated it as though this is the, finale for Derrick Henry with the Titans, but it may very well not be. He could be back. Kind of maybe Spears with a more prominent role and Henry kind of pulling back a little bit. That could happen. This shirt that I'm wearing is a picture of my wife as a child that she made for me as a gag gift one time. Somebody, Wesley Barnes, mentioned. Hey, Wesley Barnes in the chat, everybody, is a diehard Falcons fan. So, it's the enemy right there. That's the enemy. It's the enema. Anyway, can't believe I said that on this podcast here. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. This game's important Sunday about regarding the future of this team for this year, because if they lose, trade deadline's 2 days later, and Philadelphia, for example, because we've been talking about them here today, Philadelphia the reports are that they're actively looking for help in their secondary. So that makes me think of a guy like Kevin Byard. Could the Eagles be calling back about Kevin Byard? What could you get for him? Wesley Barnes says he's treating this week for the Falcons like a bye week. Easiest game of the year, 41-3. Insider Evan says those 3 catches for 17 yards from Burks this Sunday about to hit different. Listen, man, he better figure it out quick. Because, I don't know, man. I mean, the Titans turn around and play on Thursday night after this Falcons game, but the trade deadline's Tuesday. So, I don't know. Titans currently don't have a 3rd-round pick in this year's draft. So, they need some draft capital. Man, I don't know. And with the way things went, listen, some people are going to say it's ridiculous, but with the way things went yesterday, with teams like the Broncos winning, with teams, like the Patriots winning, teams like the Bears winning yesterday, if you want the Titans to tank for a guy like Caleb Williams, yesterday was actually a good day. Because all the teams that are really bad lost. So, won, but in terms of the draft position, they lost. But they won their games yesterday, which means the Titans, if they totally fall apart, they could find themselves toward the top of the draft. We got a long way to go before we get there. Charlie says, Chig plays so soft and unmotivated, and so does Burks. Well, yeah, he goes on to say we could use Sutton or Higgins. Sure we could, but what are we going to give up for those guys? I mean, I don't know. We don't have any draft capital to give up. So, yeah, I will say this. As the Titans come back this week and off of their bye, you can guarantee they're not coming back with the expectation of tanking. If you think they're already coming in with that mindset this week, they're not. I'm just telling you, they're not. Vrabel's not, for sure. He's lost 11 of his last 13 games. Okay? This dude ain't wanting to tank. And like I said, guys, they got 5 division games in front of them. They got some games in their mind that they think are winnable games against teams that, are not exactly in the elite of the NFL. So they're not giving up hope. But, I mean, if they lose Sunday, you've got to pick a direction, is what I'm saying. All of this half in, half out, maybe we're tanking, but maybe we're trying to be competitive. All of that, that's not going to get you far. You've got to have a vision. If you're tanking, tank. If you're playing for a high draft position, to do that. Trade some guys and let's move on. Okay? So, I don't know. But the Titans are back, and sure Vrabel's doing a press conference today where he's going to talk about, I don't know, playing better, coaching better. Speaking of Vrabel, he was inducted into the New England Patriots Hall of Fame over the weekend, and some people had a problem with some of the things that happened. Some people had a problem with the fact that he was even there because it's the bye week, and you should be spending time with the team trying to make the Titans better, and instead you're in Foxborough. Oh, God, give me a break. And there are some who had a problem with the fact that in talking to the crowd, I think at halftime of the game, he made this statement. He said, "We've got a game to win," which the Patriots did, and I'll talk about that in a second. He said, "We've got a game to win," and some people had a problem with the fact that he used the term "we." That's just not a hill I'm willing to die on. I don't care. I could not care less about Vrabel being there. I could not care less. I mean, congratulations to him. That's a great honor, but you know what I'm saying. In terms of feeling like he was being disrespectful to the Titans and their organization, I just don't agree. I don't care in that regard. It's like none of us know how NFL bye weeks work. We just don't. We don't know how it works, and it's not even worth talking about any further. But congratulations to Vrabel for being inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame. He had a great career. There. Hope he can turn it around this year as a coach. Titans signed running back Jonathan Ward to their practice squad. So, big news today for the Tennessee Titans. Let's talk about some games yesterday. With it being a bye week, I had more of an opportunity to watch, really get a close eye on some of these other teams. I turned on a Red Zone channel, sat back, just watched. It was nice to really get to sit back and get a close look at everybody. So let's talk about the games from yesterday. The Browns beat the Colts 39-38. I hated the Colts uniforms. It was the black helmets. The black helmets are just horrendous. That's the first thing I want to say. Second thing I want to say regarding the Colts, because the Colts are probably a little better than I thought they were going to be, especially considering they have backup quarterback in. But I digress. The Colts got kind of screwed over by the referees. Okay. Got kind of screwed over. Yeah. It was incompetence. It was incompetence by the referees. Some of those calls late in the game. Do I care? No. I don't care at all. Do I feel bad for the Colts? No. Now, do I understand that it is awful what NFL referees are doing to the game? Yes, I do. I've ranted about it time and time again. But in this case, I don't feel bad for the Colts. I'm glad they lost. Colts can go lick a fart sickle and eat doo-doo stew for all I care. I don't care that they lost, nor do I feel bad. Yeah, it was a bad call. Who cares? You lost. As far as the Browns, listen, the Browns are kind of a unique team. They're kind of a unique team because Deshaun Watson is hurt. When he's in there, he sucks. And the thing is, of course, the Titans are the only team that has made him look good. That's the only good game he's ever had with the Browns was against the Titans. When he's not playing the Titans, he looks like cheeks. So, I mean, tough times may be ahead for Cleveland in the future because they paid him so much freaking money. But their defense is so good. Their defense is so good, and they have weapons on offense. Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore, like they have some good weapons to be an actual somewhat threat in the AFC. But quarterback-wise, Watson's hurt. When he's in there, he ain't that good. Walker, PJ Walker, the backup, is a backup. So it's tough. The Browns are a tough one to try to figure out, right? Patriots beat the Bills 29-25. I mean, right now the Bills are not good. They're not good. And you're talking about a team in Buffalo that people kind of look at coming into the year as like, they're Super Bowl contender probably. And I'm not saying like they can't get it together. They're 4-3. I'm not saying they can't figure it out. But what I will say is right now they're bad. Their last 3 games, they lost to Jacksonville in London. They looked totally bored and lifeless. Then they came home and, I mean, barely beat the Giants at home on Sunday Night Football. The Giants, who are not good. And then yesterday they lost to a Patriots team that most people would have said was one of the worst teams in the league coming into yesterday. So, and to watch Josh Allen in the post-game press conference, I mean, this dude is discouraged. This dude is like, we can't figure it out. I don't know what's going on. It's like, I don't know. And especially having the Dolphins. I know the Dolphins lost last night, but having the Dolphins in that division, having a scrappy Jets team in that division, you just lost to the worst team in that division yesterday. Bills are not good right now. They are not good. We'll see as things go ahead. They play Thursday night, I believe, this week. Giants over the Commanders 14-7. I had the Commanders picked as a playoff team. I had them as the 7th seed in the NFC. I'm starting to really worry about that pick. I'm starting to really worry about that pick. Because they looked bad yesterday against a Giants team that has been really bad all year. They had a backup quarterback in. Commanders got started this season. They looked good. They looked tough. They are totally falling apart right now, and I'm not feeling good about my pick having them make the playoffs. I don't know. We got a long way to go, but they're 3-4, right? They're 3-4 now. Eesh. I'll tell you what, Detroit Lions came back down to earth yesterday. Oh my gosh. Let's talk about Detroit first. Detroit, to put it in perspective, last week on my 32-1 two-tone talk power rankings that I do every Friday, I had the Lions as the number 1 team in the league. I had them at number 1 because the Eagles and Niners both lost last week. I had the Lions at number 1. Bro, they got their butts kicked. They got their butts handed to them by the Baltimore Ravens. 38-6 was the final of this game, and it could have been worse. Because these Lions got their butts kicked, and they're still fine. They're 5-2. Their division is bad. I still think they're significantly better most weeks than the Vikings, the Bears, and the Packers. So, they're still very much in control of their destiny there in the NFC. But, whew, this is concerning if you're a Detroit fan to know that they're capable of this. They're going to need, I don't know who they're playing next week, but they need to come back with a statement win that says, hey, that's not who we are. As far as the Ravens, woo, these Ravens look pretty dang good. Lamar Jackson's throwing the ball well. He's got some weapons. Probably the most weapons on the outside that he's had his entire career. And these Ravens look good. Their defense was good yesterday. Everything was good for the Ravens yesterday. And, we talked about, the traditional Chiefs, Bills, Bengals. We kind of talk about them as the big three in the AFC. Is like those are the biggest threats. But you might need to, especially with the Bills not looking so good. Bengals got off to a slow start. You may need to incorporate the Baltimore Ravens name into that list because they look good. Very good. Bears over the Raiders 30-12. So this is an interesting one. The Bears whooped the Raiders. Now, of course, this was the Raiders with Brian Hoyer at quarterback, not Jimmy Garoppolo, but the Bears had backup in too. Justin Fields was out. And this is unique because the conversation all year regarding the Bears has been, it's not Justin Fields' fault. Justin Fields is not the problem. And he's probably not, but man, Justin Fields out yesterday, and these Bears whooped the Raiders. Raiders are 3-4 now. Bears are 2-5, and this guy for the Bears, Badgett, 21-29 for $162 and a touchdown. I mean, also had 3 rushes for 24 yards. Man, what happens if this guy keeps winning? You want to talk about problems? What happens if this kid keeps winning in Chicago? Then what? Falcons, the Titans' next opponent, beat the Bucs 16-13. This was a critical game in the NFC South because the Saints lost Thursday night. Of course they did, to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Saints lost Thursday night, so you knew coming into today, especially since the Panthers are horrible, you knew that, whoever wins this game between the Bucs and the Falcons, they're in sole possession of first place in that division. And the Falcons tried to give this thing away in every way possible. First and goal from the half-yard line, fumble. Ritter running into the end zone, fumbles it out of the end zone. They tried. But ultimately, at the end of the day, Younghoe Koo with a game-winning field goal at the end, and the Falcons beat the Bucs 16-13. I mean, the Falcons, they win games similar to how we saw the Titans win games all those years. It is nasty and ugly and brutal to watch. But somehow at the end of the day, they're going to beat you 13-10. They're going to beat you 16-13. It's going to be low scoring. It's going to be ugly. And so I don't know what's going to happen when the Titans and Falcons play each other Sunday, but we'll see. But the Falcons get the win. And I believe they are now in sole possession, right, of first place. They're in the, they are in sole possession first place in the NFC South. And so they're coming into Nashville with momentum and a good defense. So whoever's starting quarterback for the Titans, tough test there. And I'll tell you what, Steelers beat the Rams 24-17. I mean, guys, the Titans got to turn around and play the Steelers on Thursday night in Pittsburgh after this Atlanta game. And the Steelers are 4-2. Like, they don't look good. But, I mean, they beat the Ravens a couple weeks ago. So, yes, I understand as the Titans look over their schedule coming up, yeah, they're not having to play the Chiefs or the Eagles or any of those teams, but let's not act like these teams that are coming up on the schedule are not good. These are going to be tough games. And I feel like this 2-game stretch coming up, Atlanta on Sunday and then Pittsburgh on Thursday, this is going to kind of tell the tale for Tennessee for the rest of the season. This is going to kind of tell you how it's going to be. Because if you come out of these 2 games 2-6, if you lose them both, the season's done, right? If you're 3-5, you can kind of cling to hope, but not much. Or if you're 4-4, everybody's going to feel like everything's turned around. So I don't know, but I mean, these are going to be 2 tough games back to back. Going to be an interesting few days, but the Steelers beat the Rams 24-17. Seahawks over the Cardinals 20-10. Cardinals are bad. But I'm telling you, if you're on the Titans tank wagon, if you want them to tank, there's two teams right now with worse records than the Titans in the league, and it's the Panthers and the Cardinals. And the Cardinals are about to get Kyler Murray back. So the Cardinals might start winning some of their games. So, hey, something to think about. Broncos over the Packers 19-17. This was a battle, I believe, of two of the worst teams in the league. Broncos get the win, and the Green Bay Packers are horrible. They're horrible. I don't know what they need to do. I don't know what needs to happen for them, but they're bad. The Broncos are still bad too, but they were the lesser of two evils in this game. Chiefs over the Chargers 31-17. Taylor Swift was there, everybody, and she had on a bracelet with Travis Kelce's number on the bracelet. Chiefs beat the Chargers 31-17. I mean, the Chiefs are now starting to look good. Starting to look good. God help us and have mercy on us. Chargers are 2-4. That was a lot of people had them as a wild card team in the AFC. Yikers. Okay. Yikers. So, and the Chargers look totally lost. Chiefs got the win. And then last night on Sunday Night Football, Eagles over the Dolphins 31-17. I mean, I talked about enough about the Eagles earlier. I think as far as the Dolphins, I mean, they're 5-2. I mean, they're fine. They're fine, but they still have, I mean, if the Bills figure it out, it could be trouble. Obviously, you've got a scrappy Jets team there. I think the Jets could maybe contend for a wild card spot, but I don't think they're going to try to contend for the division. Some things I think about the Dolphins that would concern me are, they want to throw it deep downfield because they got all that speed. If you take that away, you kind of take everything away for them. So, there you go. Tonight, it is the 49ers and the Vikings on Monday Night Football. I would expect the 49ers to win that game, but hey, we have seen some weird things go on in the NFL. Titans return to action this Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. Oilers throwback. Titan Fox says, now I know why I didn't know you did live shows. It's Monday during normal work hours. I know, dude. But they're on the channel. You can go back and watch. And that's it for Two Tone Talk episode 47. I appreciate you guys tuning in wherever you're tuning in. Please go subscribe on YouTube, Two Tone Talk, or you can go follow me on Twitter at Two Tone Talk. Thank you guys so much. We'll be back Friday with the power rankings and previewing, and maybe by then we'll know who the starting quarterback's going to be, but I bet we won't. He's going to save that till game time. This is the Two Tone Talk. Staying way too high on the wins, way too low on the losses. Bye, everybody.
Just feel free. Feels like the world is picking on ya. Feels like it's picking on me. But trying to please everybody, that ain't no way to be. So many people try to get